before we was mamas. Understand? We from the streets, okay? So we from the hood. They don't. When they talk about testing the gangster, we would be trying to prepare. We were trying to filter them. We were trying to safeguard the children from that. But they really be trying us. They really. That digital parenting went out the window. Okay.
We got to start the show. Welcome to the Real on Parenting.
Oh my goodness.
Where, for the most part, we are amazing moms.
For the most part, okay.
But
we are human as well.
There are moments. When I told Kayla, I was not always Kayla Mama. I was not always Coach Kiana. There was a time where I was Key Loki. You gonna quit playing with me?
Ooh, that's when we had to chuckle real hard to like, honey, mommy is trying to help you, because if I revert,
so this conversation, y'all, started with whether or not we yell.
Whether or not we yell while parenting.
Right, because yelling outside of parenting is a totally different conversation. But we were talking about how Danielle earlier was saying something to her daughter, and she was like, I've said it twice. You said you haven't moved, and I've said it twice. And I was just like, oh shoot. Like, because I know Danielle, I know her daughter. They both have their own personalities. And I was going, baby, you don't even know you in danger. But I just, because and the thing is because we do not necessarily yell. Now, occasionally I do raise my voice because I get frustrated, right? We're going to talk about that today. Like why parents yell. But for the most part, when Kayla is doing something or she has a response and I just
you better take heed to the silence, okay?
Right. And so she says, Mommy, that's your mean face. No, this is your opportunity to reset yourself, because Mommy is taking a deep breath with this smile. I'm trying to give you a second. Because when I start to breathe, that is the warning signal. Oh, okay, this is about to escalate real quickly. Okay.
But expeditiously.
At the same time, when I lower my voice, she's like, that scares me. She would rather I just start yelling. Well, I don't want to yell. So
and with mine, I don't.
Yeah.
My husband tells my daughter, your mom's talking quieter. She's dang near whispering. I would encourage you to, whatever the heck she told you to do it, just do it. I get quiet because I've said what I've said thoroughly. That's how I communicate by default. So it ain't like, oh, you just said no. I know I did, because that's my default functioning level.
Now I will admit, I have snatched the TV out the wall. Just like because what I'm not gonna do is keep repeating myself. When I give instructions, I expect them to be followed. And we've talked about this before, how I've said, like, I get it. You might feel it's unfair or whatever. When you challenge it in the moment, it's disrespectful. It's
different. Right.
It's gonna have all your teeth sitting. And when the teeth come out, you're not getting a new set. You can pick up all the pieces, like, and then we'll take that to the dentist and be like, here, can you make this what it needs to be? But you're not getting brand new ones. I'm gonna tell you that now. So,
you're not getting a new set unless you get it on your dime with your salary.
I'm definitely about to get an email about that. Y'all, calm down, okay? Just calm down and let us talk.
That's too funny.
But I have, like, because in the quietness, doggone it, we gonna pull it together. Now, for the most part, I'm gonna say 98% of the time, I have no issues out of my daughter. That 2% though has snatched me from my soul. Like, it's like just snatched my soul, shook it, put it back in my body. And so the TV came out the wall.
Yeah, it's one of those. It was one of those. She don't know. She don't know, and she's about to. Well, fill in the phrase, but she's about to find out.
What? I don't know what you was about to say right there.
She's about to. She gonna find out. She gonna see on this here day that what Mama say, she said. And I
Now,
granted,
because we are not violent toward our kids, like now a pop or something like, I get it. Folks be like, don't but I am very much like there are certain things that I want you to associate with pain. Running in the parking lot, I'm gonna pop that. I'm gonna pop your leg because what
yeah,
you doing? You're supposed to be standing right here,
right,
because it
right,
can get
right.
you
Even
killed.
when
If
your
it's something that
child
can
is
get you
younger,
in
yes,
jail,
right,
you gonna associate that with pain when it comes to me. Now, not listening, I want you to associate with pain because I see things you don't see.
right.
So,
Yeah,
and
that
I've
insight.
tested this out. Like we were walking in a parking lot. I'm gonna get a letter about this too. We were walking in the parking lot and I said,
You're on two
run.
already.
And Kayla took like, I'm talking about tracks. I said, run. And she just broke. And I had to grab her sweat. Like I'm like grabbing her hoodie. She's still in the air. And I was just like, good job. Thank you for like, but it was the test. Like we were walking at the doctor's office. We were walking out and I
You
went,
over there doing them hood things. You
and
know, we
she
didn't live this before, okay? It's just like one run, we all run, we ask questions later, right?
But I need to know that when I say do something, do it. If I say get in the car and
There
lock the
isn't the
door,
questioning about it.
I see the man coming, and not so when I say get in the car and lock the door, that's what I mean. I mean
Right. Yeah, that's true.
secure yourself so that that type of listening, I believe, starts in the little things. So the day that we were walking and I was going, like she can't see me, but she started running before she turned around to see what was going on. Because that's what I've taught her. You ain't gotta say mommy. You get to where you supposed to be.
Right. Right. Mommy gonna be
That
okay.
was
All
her
right.
dad
You
was
better
like,
them
quit
high knees
traumatizing
better
my
be
baby.
up. So anywho,
Her dad was
so
like, you better stop that. But my point is listening is a skill that I need you to have. When you disagree with something, do it first and then come back to me. Mommy, I didn't like that. Mommy, I feel like we could have done this different.
listening and cooperating though, you
Right.
know, it's there is a time and
Wow.
place
Well,
where
okay. All right. I was gonna say something, but I don't want no more letters. I've said enough to get
you
letters
already
today.
at two. You about three strikes you're out. But I don't know where these letters coming from, but it don't sound like it's good.
I don't know about the emails. The emails we get, like,
So,
y'all, you shouldn't get. Listen, I didn't ask you no questions. You didn't. You
but
didn't.
so I don't even know if we said the topic. The topic is one, stop yelling. Okay. Why do parents yell? Just stop yelling. Why are you yelling? They can hear you. And I hear the parents saying, but that's the only way that they do, because that's what you condition them to do.
Right. Because when I drop my voice, well, as you were saying earlier, your husband like, Mama
When you get to
whispering,
that
baby.
that library tone,
Mhm.
it's all bad
But
quickly.
I also want you to hear my voice when I'm whispering from across the room.
I heard you, God. I think you took me back. Hold on, I got chill bumps. And my mama didn't even she didn't move her mouth. It was just the look within in it. It was the other mother, the motherboard.
Listen, I saw
Anyway,
your mama
but
yesterday, and she was like, "Come here," and I was trying not to disrupt what she was doing, like, cause she had a classroom full of students, and she was just like, and
she
when
said
she
what
hit
she
the
said,
Mama
okay?
Donna look, when she look over her glasses, baby, I don't want no
Oh,
parts.
goodness.
At 46, I don't want no parts.
So let's speak to the aspects, because it's kind of another onion, if you will. There's layers to this in regards to, because it's not a simple answer and a simple fix and a simple why. Well, let's
Mm-hmm.
speak to, why do parents yell? Why are you yelling? And some of that emotional intelligence, or lack thereof, that we spoke about in the previous episode. If you haven't watched it, go watch it so you can catch up and understand and
Right.
take your mental notes accordingly. But there is that aspect of having limited capacity of just emotional regulation for yourself.
Absolutely.
So, and let's speak to just having your day of responsibilities
The stress.
and all that entails.
Mm-hmm.
You're not up for the shenanigans. You're not
Right.
up for wanting to repeat yourself. You're not up for wanting to have to tell your child the same thing that you've been telling him or her for the past year. since they were two, since they was three. What you fill in the blank. So is that frustrating? Of course.
Yeah.
Is that angry? Of course. Is that getting on your
But
damn
but
nerves?
I think that when
Yes.
we if we stop and have those conversations with our kids, our spouse, whatever, just people in general, this when you do this, I feel this, right? When you don't clean up when I tell you to clean up, then I feel like you are being disrespectful. When I feel disrespected, I escalate things to make sure that I am going to be respected from here on out. Like that's a natural cycle. I mean, let me. Is that a natural cycle? Let me ask the therapist. Is that a natural cycle?
It's not natural because if it was, everybody be doing it. However, it is an act that should be worked towards. So that is what's called what I call that effective communication. But I flip it because I'm a therapist. I start with, or I suggest starting with the feeling first. Starting with the feeling first, for the most part, allows the person to listen with their defensive ears off, if that makes sense. If you start off with you didn't do this, I don't care how old you are. It's like, right. Okay, and the ears are off, okay? As far as listening to the feeling, if you right. hear the feeling first, it can put that that listening ear kind of like in a different perspective, because at the end of the day, that a lot of times our children feel we don't have feelings, right? And granted, that can be according to the phase of childhood that they're in, but also in regards to what's modeled and what's shown with day to day on how you experience and show and manage your own feelings. But starting off with the feeling, I am frustrated. I am pissed because you did not do the things you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
When you get home, what your tasks are. You know what they are.
List. It's on the refrigerator.
Right. You know what they are. They have not changed. But yet you chose to not do it for whatever reason. That's frustrating. Period. So when you are communicating with your child or your children in that way, this also is a way of modeling how to communicate how you're feeling.
Right. Without all the anger, without all the unnecessary yelling, without, the drama of it all, I think we pick up from our childhoods or whatever. My mom did not repeat herself often. And so
my mom never. Maybe she did when I was one. I don't remember.
Look, we was bad. More so the boys. It's her sons. But but my mom grew up in a household with my grandmother and my grandfather. They didn't repeat themselves at all. My mother said she got one whooping and she was just like, "Oh, y'all like these. I don't. I ain't never doing nothing else."
I heard that, Miss Ma'am.
So she's only had one spanking her entire life.
So I know how to follow directions, okay?
Exactly. So for me, I'm like, wait a minute. I probably had a couple of more than one.
I have more than one too. I'm just saying, because I was
not because I wasn't smart, but because but because I tried a different variation. I never got whooped for the same thing. Let me say that.
She was trying out all her options, I guess.
So if I get whooped for opening the front door, will I get whooped for opening the front door with a stick in my hand? Because she said that she can't protect me if I'd have let the stranger in. So if I open the door with a stick, is that the same? You know what I mean? Like I had variations because I needed to know what my limitations were. So that's neither here nor there. Right. The point is that in my household, I don't want to repeat myself either because
right.
I didn't grow up with a mother repeating herself and the same thing. But in a way, she kind of did. But like I said, it was different variations. So if she had to say every day for a week, clean your room, you clean the room, then the room get back dirty, you clean. So now I'm like, hey, here's how we gonna prevent that. Clean your room to my standard. And then I am going to release my need for my daughter's room to be spick and span.
Okay.
Now, I do draw the line at your room is so dirty that if there's a fire, if there's an earthquake, I can't come in here and save you without breaking something of my own. If I'm gonna be injured saving your life, your room is too much. You know what I'm saying? But when it gets to
Right.
that point, hey, let's start over.
Mhm.
Back to my standard, and then you can slowly let things roll. But I'm also trying to teach keep your room clean, keep your space clean, because you're gonna have a roommate in college.
Yeah. And just
That
tell
ain't
them.
fair for
Yeah,
your roommate to be
exactly.
dealing with, messiness. And,
Girl.
I have walked into places like dorm rooms and I'm just like, so y'all, oh, your drawers on the floor. And not, you
Hmm.
didn't think that was, what if her boyfriend came in with her? You want him to see your drawers on the floor? I don't understand what we doing.
Yes. I
So you
know
left
that
the
one
food out
personally.
overnight.
Okay.
So the
So
whole room
yes.
smelled like funky burrito from yesterday. The room smells like last night is what that's not okay either.
No.
Oh, you fell
Mm-mm.
asleep again. You fell asleep again with food on. Okay. Okay. So when because roaches don't sleep. So I need, you know what I'm saying? So there's a build up to like this is
Right.
why we do this. And our
Right.
kids don't always understand that. But when you've
Hmm.
had to say it repeatedly, at some point you probably will yell. Or
True.
you could be proactive and start, let me have this conversation to explain it to you so you can see it better. Perhaps it's a shift in perspective before
Possibly.
I
Yeah.
lose
Hopefully.
control.
I like the term lose control. Yes. So the yelling as a parent, there are parents who that's their norm. That's how they speak
Facts.
all the time. I remember having a friend in my teens. I'm like, why is your mom always yelling? Like I would ask her, you in trouble? You in trouble? And
That's how she talk.
she like, no. And I'm like, well, why is she always yelling? Something must be wrong if she's
Yeah.
always yelling. And then for her, that was normal.
Mm.
For me, that was high alert. I didn't know she had mental health issues at that time, but I knew something was not right. And but that impacts the child's emotional kind of like regulation, but radar so much when you are desensitized to normal emotional emotions, as you say in general.
Hmm.
How do you then gauge that, oh, this may lead to an unhealthy emotional situation? He or she is always yelling at me.
Right.
No, that is not normal.
It's
No,
not.
that is not okay.
And we
So
wouldn't want them to accept it from anybody else.
exactly, but if mama or daddy did it, it doesn't make it okay, but they are familiar. This is familiar emotional territory. And they've navigated it for the past 16, 17, 20 something years. It can easily be perceived that this is normal. And then you
Mm.
have parents that go into, well, I don't know why they in it, because you were the yeller. Does it say
Right.
you were the abuser? No, but it's kind of like what do they call it? The gateway drug. It's kind of like the gateway
Okay.
emotional abusive situation. Like it really, really is, because it desensitizes that child's understanding and experience of certain feelings. And granted, you can have the opposite. You can have children who wants no parts, but then you go to the extreme. You go
Yes.
to the person who's operating from fear and conflict and avoiding of all those things, avoiding of all conflict. So your parents, your tone sets the tone, for your child's ability to function within relationships.
Yeah.
Do you want the tone, for our musically inclined, you want the child to be flat? Flat means unhealthy, okay, for those who don't know. And then they going on, you have those deaf-tone people who just be, the people in the choir, let's go to the church. And
This is
they
a
just got the
triggering subject for
choir.
me.
Okay. They just got the choir voice. They ain't got the lead. They barely make the choir voice. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like as parents, we set the tone for our child functioning as an adult,
Yeah.
functioning in any relationship of any capacity.
Yeah.
Be mindful of your tone. these past maybe 5 years, I've been, no, maybe not five, I'm putting a bit on it, maybe 2 years at least. I tell my child, watch your tone. And there are times where she's like, I don't know what that means. And I'm really good at imitating. So when I get to pulling out the thing, I don't do that. That is exactly how you looking at it, exactly how you sound. So if you're having, thinking it's funny or feeling that you don't do that, but I'm telling you, I'm showing you that that's what's coming out your mouth and that's what's coming out your body language.
Yeah.
So parents, watch your tone because it will get to a point to where your child is no longer a chronological child. They're your adult child. And you may hear them say, who are you talking to? I'm just saying, I work with a lot of people. Watch your tone. And you never want your tone to have this negative emotional and mental impact on your child who is going to become an adult, emotional well-being.
Yes. Yes. And I think that when I am not in my best frame of mind to correct things without escalation, right? Like
Okay, yeah.
a lot of times it's because I'm tired. When I let
You're
and
right.
I know that you know this because you
I've
are
seen
definitely
it.
you have seen it, but when you don't get good sleep,
Oh, I already know. I give disclaimers, okay? Because I know me.
yes. Um,
Thank you for holding your story. But yes, I appreciate it.
but exhaustion can decrease your patience and
Very much
increase
so.
inability,
Very
right?
much so.
And
Yeah.
so when my daughter said, "Mommy, do you need a nap?"
Hey, she
I
saw it.
I took a deep breath and I was like, "Yes, yes, I do."
Good. Good. Good.
Because I could have been like, "I don't need no nap." I could have went through the whole thing.
Right.
No,
Right.
the thank you for recognizing that your mama is tired. I do need a
Mm-hmm.
nap. I do need a nap, and I need one right now. Right now, here's the thing because she recognized my irritability,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always tied to a nap. This particular day it
Sure.
was. But at the end of the day, what she's saying is, I don't like the way you're talking to me.
Yeah.
I don't feel good when you're the way you're communicating. That's an
Mm-hmm.
adjustment I need to make. Right.
Right.
And I would do
Right.
that for any adult, what adults I care about. I had to qualify my statement because I don't coddle adults. But that being said, when I care, I make the adjustments, right? I
Mm-hmm.
always bring it to current relationships with other adults because I think it helps people put into perspective. When
Mm-hmm.
you have kids who feel a certain way, respond to them the way you would an adult you care about. How would I have responded to my best friend? I would have made the adjustment. So for my daughter, I'm going to make the
Mm-hmm.
adjustment. Does that make sense? I hope that makes
No,
sense
no, it does. It
because I'm a little
does.
sleepy.
No, and it does. And then also it and don't get us wrong. We do understand that your children are children, but we also understand they are people. Your age does not determine you not being a person. They're still a person. So I love my daughter dearly. And but so I tell if you don't want the truth to be told, don't do nothing that you ain't supposed to be doing and I'm supposed to be done around my child because she gonna tell it. Okay. She gonna
Right.
tell it and she gonna tell the truth. So we do our best, I should say, to provide her with an environment that is safe to express her feelings
Mm-hmm.
and identify the thing or the behaviors. I don't know if you see what I'm leading to,
I
but
do.
that
I do.
made
I see
her
it. I
feel
see
the
it.
way that she's feeling. So it's all a blur, because it's when you told about yourself, it's a tough pill. And she had to have the
Facts.
conversation a couple of times, okay? But she had expressed feeling that she wasn't being listened to, that things that she had been saying was not important because the change was not happening in regards
Right.
to what she was expressing.
Mm.
And at one
Which can't
point,
always happen.
exactly. But in this instance, it was me. And I had to be mindful of how we talked about in previous episodes with all the hats we played and just life being life and all the responsibilities. But it doesn't make it okay to be rude. And not to say that was my intention. It is our tone. Our tone impacts and it sends certain messages to our children. Did I literally say certain things? Not at all, but that was her experience. So I had to be open to listen. Mom, when you speak in this tone, when you say this in this way, when you do this, it makes me feel. And whew, was it easy to listen to? No, it wasn't. Was it something that changed overnight? No, it wasn't. However, my motivation was my daughter expressed to me something that I'm doing that's making her feel less than, something that I'm doing or something in the way in which I'm saying it that's impacting her in a way that can be the trail that she's on emotionally and mentally into adulthood. I can change this because
And
I
I
can
think some,
change. Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say, and I can change how I'm responding or lack thereof, given that specific thing.
Right.
So, was it perfect? No. Would you say that it's totally changed now as my child? No. However, there is improved because we all have our own stuff.
Yeah.
We all have a childhood. We all have things. My mama, she said it once, and that was the once and only time that she was going to say it. And then you fill in the blank, okay? And that is the way in which I grew up. So for me to have the emotional intelligence, to be mindful and aware of my own feelings and regulating and communicating and all of that good stuff. However, we all have different life experiences that trigger certain things. Mm-hmm. And when you go to open your mouth, your mama coming out your mouth, your daddy coming out your mouth, your grandma coming out your mouth. The people that we said, oh, I would never do that, guess what? They done jump down your throat and then it's their voice, okay? So we all have our things. And so we have to take heed to that. I had to take heed to that. I remember how it felt. Mm-hmm. We remember how that felt when we were that age. It doesn't disappear.
Right. Now we learned over time, like, oh, okay, this is a perspective that I didn't have at that age.
Right.
And when we go back to that age mentally, like, okay, or in memory, not mentally, but in memory, like, you know what? I didn't like it when my mom said this. Like, it kind of helps us to not feel attacked. However, a lot of times when our kids tell us things, as adults, we feel attacked. They think I'm not a good mom. They think that's not what she said. She said, I don't like the way when I say something, I'm not being respected. I'm not being valued. I don't like your tone when you're talking to me. Like those are very specific things. Nothing about that says you're not a good mom. She didn't say you didn't feed her. She didn't say that there was beatings every Tuesday. What she said was, this is how I feel. The problem I'm finding in coaching is that parents feel attacked. And I have to go back and go, if you told your husband that when he says this, you feel that, would you expect him to make a change? Or would you expect him to say, she'll get over it. I pay all the bills.
Right. And let me just pause and say this. If they do, okay, I'm just saying, there needs to be a whole nother conversation happening because that's some people's reality. So now let's unpause. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put that.
But
right
I think that's the. I'm so glad you didn't say what I thought you was about to say, and so
I'm staying in the line.
Brownstone Worldwide. Shout out to Brownstone Worldwide. I feel like we haven't mentioned them in a minute. Thank you, Brownstone Worldwide, for letting us be here.
Appreciate you.
I think that those attacks that we feel, or that we feel attacked because of expectations that our kids have of us, expectations that we have of ourselves, and
Of
then the
ourselves, yes.
expectations that are not being met, right?
Right,
So
right.
if we have, and we were watching a video, and the lady was explaining to a lady, like, listen, you're expecting your mom to be motherly at your big old age of 35, right? I couldn't decide how old the lady was. So I'm gonna meet in the middle because I was saying 40 at first, then 30. I'm gonna say at your big age of 35, you're
Mhm.
expecting your mom to be mom, but the relationship changes over time. Is my mom still mom? Absolutely. Are we friends now? Absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? Now, at
Yeah.
18, my mother was not trying to be. I remember my mama said, we can be friends when you can loan me money. So not today then. Okay, got it.
Right. That-
We not friends today. Noted. Okay. But
oh my goodness, that is too funny. Go ahead.
and you know my mama, so you know that
Yes, that's whew,
when you
all
say that
right.
to your 15-year-old, it's a different, it does it different. It does. But I think that sometimes we have expectations. We had them of our parents, our children have them of us, where it's like everything is supposed to be perfect. And
Mhm.
we fight for, what is the word I want to use? We fight for independence from our parents. And then
Right,
we
right.
say, but I need to depend on you for these things. People don't compartmentalize like that. Like people are not fractional. Now, yes, it I'm gonna give my example. If I need a hug from my mama to this day, she like, come on. All right.
It's like we touch
Now,
skin, we're good. All right. You're
because
good.
right, like she's just like, you can't just stand next to me. You can't just be in the same room and feel the love. Now, my daughter can go to my mom, grandma, I need a hug. Oh, baby, come here. And she will hold her all day. When I see that, my heart feels because I remember not having that and lacking
Mhm,
that. Right now, if
mhm,
I need a hug, I can also go to my daughter. I'm not going to my mom. Not if I need a hug, I will go to my mom. But for the most part, the
mhm.
dynamic is different. Where I'm
Right,
independent here, she like then be independent there too, right? Now, I
right.
believe that that experience will lead me to always hug my daughter and hold her when she wants to. The problem with that is I don't necessarily like touch that much. So I would be like, okay, I have held you. I understand my mom more now because it ain't that she didn't want to hug me. It's just that there's a capacity and people don't know how to get the hell up,
And you
particularly
was
me.
that child, right?
Yes,
And you were that
particularly me.
child. She was trying to prepare you for real life. You didn't realize it.
My cuddle is different. Okay, I want to cuddle for a minute, and then like, can we cuddle at opposite ends of the couch, right? Like, can I just put
Yeah.
my feet on you? And because I want to be touched, just not so much. Like, you don't need to rub my feet. I want just let me tuck them under. Like that's all I need. Like everything else, it's sweet, but after a while, it's gonna irritate me, right? That
Mhm.
is me. And so
Yeah.
when we look at the unmet expectations, we got to remember that some people have a max over here and they have a
Right.
minimum over here. And
Right.
it's hard walking to find balance, especially with multiple kids. It's hard
Yes. Yes.
walking to find balance when you don't want to. It's hard walking, and so what we have are unmet expectations
Right.
because I
Right.
expect my parent to always be my parent. I expect them to always be there when I need them. I expect to be able to go to their house and grocery shop in their refrigerator. But what happens when they come to your house and grocery shop in yours? You be feeling a kind of way. You really
And
do. I
do.
I mean, I was just like, so you gonna take my downy sheets, like, you know what I mean? And I had plenty, but I was just like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay.
And I'll
You
say
would
this,
think she took the whole refrigerator. You think she was in there getting chicken and yeah, oh, this the ground turkey, this mine. Okay, like it wasn't like that, but it was just that because she put it in a bag and then she had some almonds in there too. It just felt like a lot.
not the
It was just
almonds, okay? But with that,
expectation.
right, and with that, and granted, because we're speaking on so many different aspects of
Right. I'm
parenting.
sorry if
You
I
know,
went
no,
to a
no, 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 because it's complex. It's not a simple
it
answer.
is,
It's not a we talk about this only and it applies to everything. It is very
but
much
it goes back to
complex.
the yelling. Yeah.
Right. But also within that, you spoke to that aspect in regards to the expectation or the unmet expectation of your parent. There are those adults who are still what I call the hope. They're
Mhm.
still hoping that this one day my mom, my dad will wake up and be the parent that I perceived them to be, even when they have shown that they do not have the capacity to be that.
But can I also point this out? Because, when I do exercises with the kids, I'm always like, in the classroom, I always have them close their eyes and I'll say, when you get off of social media, do you feel like you don't have enough money? Right? Like, raise your hand if you feel like you don't have enough money.
Mhm.
Raise your hand if when you get off of social media, you feel like your parents are too strict. Raise your hand if when you get off of social media, you feel like your parents aren't enough, they don't do enough. Right? You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Kids are influenced on what they are expecting, and it's unreal expectations.
Right.
You're looking at someone who threw their daughter or their child, whatever, boy or girl, a birthday party that was $30,000. Your mama make 30,000 for the year. It's not gonna be like you're not gonna get that. That does not mean that your mom is not the best mom. It means that she's working
Right.
within the resources that she has, and
Right.
and her love for you created a situation where she gave all that she had.
Had.
That might
Yes.
be not even a whole week's worth of salary for them. They could have went bigger. But you're mad because your mom is not giving a whole year's worth of salary when she still got to feed you, when she still got to clothe you, when she
Yeah.
still has to,
Yeah.
provide for you and put a roof over your head. And so I think that sometimes that unmet expectation is based on unrealistic
Right. And
situations.
you have your platform for to present that information now to these kids, so that
Right.
they're, I won't say forced, but they're forced to look at the bigger picture.
They are, because I be talking and you got to take notes.
Same here. I'm
They
just
are
saying.
forced.
I'm saying it's a choice, but you're gonna write it down. But but to present them with that information from who's outside of that parent.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, part of that you could have. The other part, you're not an adult. So there's certain aspects you're not going to default think of because that has not been your reality. There are
Right.
some teens who do work and they understand and who do work and who are providing for the household. That's
Hmm.
not their responsibility. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But however, given the conditions and what's going on, it is their responsibility. So
Right.
they have a different view in regards to responsibility and what that looks like financially. So presenting that information to them, it makes them think of like, oh, okay. It made me think
Yep.
of it was my senior year in high school, and you know, $20 then was that can get you through the whole day and night. Okay. So $20, $25, mommy, can I do this? Mommy, can I do that? Mommy, can I do this? Mommy, can I do that? And for the most part, it was I didn't go without, okay?
Right.
And I noticed that my mom start getting irritated the more I was asking. Granted, I asked for it. She was a single parent. I was always asking her for something. And she finally said, honey, I had to take a second loan out on the house. Not that I really even knew what that was, but it sounded like it wasn't a good thing. Okay. Right? It wasn't her money, it was somebody, it was the house's money. I don't know who money it was, but she had to take it out on the house so that you could have the best senior year
Yeah.
that you could ever think of. So when mommy is saying that she doesn't have it, I don't have it. And it hurts me to say I don't have it. And it made me cry because it's like, well, damn, am I spoiled? You know, so we kind of use that and shove it in with your eyes speaking loud
Oh,
words.
Listen, this my face. Deal with it.
So, but it wasn't until she said that, and granted, it wasn't everything. I need to go to everything else being a child. No, I did not. No, I really didn't. But it made me take into consideration, is this something that
Yeah.
I really, really, really need to go to, or do I just want to go to it? Or is this something
Right.
that I really, really want to go to? Like it started making me put that into the whole picture when I'm asking for things. So
Right.
when, not to say that you, actually that's a whole nother conversation. I won't say, not to say that you need to have the budget conversation, but you should. But anyways, in
Right.
regards to your children, but when you have that expectation that your child should default, be
Mhm.
aware and default have this perspective, that is, I'm gonna say that's unfair if you have not presented your child with that information, if you have not communicated that information. And also keeping in mind in regards to, hell, what are you doing with your parent? Are you going up there going grocery shopping? Are you out in these streets and spending the household money and then asking mama for money? And then you want to get mad when your child has something that your child needs and you
And
have an
they say they don't have
attitude
it.
and you don't have it, and now you fussing at them because they, like, it's a whole hamster wheel. It can
Right.
be.
And it's so much that comes with why we start yelling. Like I don't want to get away from the topic, but
But yeah,
like
yes, yes.
we are absolutely stressed. We are absolutely frustrated. We are lacking sleep is what I said. And then we I think I said we're the unmet expectations when we start
Patience.
feeling like, oh my God, my kid feels like I'm not doing this. And then or we feel like, dang,
Right.
I spent that and now I can't do this. Now we're feeling like we are not being the best person, and all of that goes, I think it all goes back to frustration, truth be told. But it causes us to yell, and we got to manage that, like you said, managing the expectations, managing our feelings, because the reality is oftentimes our kids are not trying to be disrespectful.
For the most part, there are a lot of exceptions, but I'm just going to speak to those children who have kind hearts. And I'm just saying, there are some kids out there that that's
Yeah,
what their ultimate goal is in life. I am so serious right now. I'm
I
just,
know.
you know, your child. We just gonna put it like that. We're gonna move on. You know your child. Okay.
No, you're a child. Okay. And so uh sorry. I had said that, we feel disrespected. That is definitely one of the things that I find when I'm coaching families, that a lot of parents do feel disrespected. And you probably would speak better to the boundaries on that, or how they cope with what's being said. But for me, I think that when we see our kids as being defiant or disrespectful, we we tend to overreact without understanding what is it that is creating this feeling. Is it that they are actually cussing us out? I
Yeah.
don't know that life, because one, I ain't do it, and and two, it
You
won't
wouldn't
happen
be
to
here if
me.
it was. You wouldn't
But
do it.
and it won't
Right.
happen in my house. So there is
Right.
that part. Um, but disrespect comes in many forms.
It does. Right.
Getting bad
Right.
grades might, because it's like the standard here is A's and B's. When you come in with a D, you are absolutely defying what the hell was told to you. Okay,
When they're
now
giving her symptoms of diagnosis. Stop. Anyways.
when, now if the D is because I didn't get you a tutor, that's different. But if the D is because you just didn't do the work, now you're disrespected. If I'm giving instructions and you don't follow them, that is
Yeah.
disrespect. If I say
But
clean
let's
the
speak to
bathroom,
that though.
go
So
ahead.
there's that part of, what we grew up in the era of, you were told to do it.
And you did it.
In and there's healthy and unhealthy to that. Because a child can take the message that, oh, when an adult tells me to do something, I do it and don't question it, despite what it is.
Okay.
So and this is from working in the field. And then there's the
Oh, listen,
aspect
I
of
will guide you on what adults to tell to go to hell. I mean, to
so
say
well, so
no to.
that speaks to the other part I
But
was just
me,
about to
I ain't
say.
one of them.
So keeping in mind that as a
Sorry.
part of parenting, granted, it is a part, a big part is guiding
Yeah.
guiding our children through teaching them, modeling for them on how to be responsible adults. And so, is everyone trustworthy? The reality of it is no, no matter how old you are. If it does not feel right, then there's a likely chance it's not right. And you do have the option to question it. You have the option, come to mommy, come to daddy. So that's just to kind of just hit on that in regards to it that can lead to many different avenues in regards to the child and their perception and understanding of that. But there's, as a parent, once again, remember, it's an onion. There's layers to that. So there's other aspects that make sure that there is that balance to where your child understands that no, I'm just not being told to do anything by anybody because of their age. I'm supposed to do it. There is that understanding of respect for yourself. There is that understanding of limits and boundaries. And these are the words that should be communicated when you are having those talks.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I had to kind of chime in there because yeah, just like do what I said. It's like, well, I don't understand why is she even friends with him or in that relationship with that boy? And it's like, well, you said do what you was told to do. Well, they know. Well, did you have that conversation and specifically explain them what they know?
An extreme situation, but okay.
You'll be shocked. So
I wouldn't be because I work with teenagers.
So yeah, because but it's real. It's real.
It is.
It's very real.
But I was just speaking from a parental perspective. Like when I give instructions, follow them. You know what I mean?
Well, yes.
Because when you don't, it is disrespect. It is defiance. And it leads to your destruction since we into alliteration.
So right.
So then I was saying that you would be better at talking about like the coping skills and the boundaries of it all, because one of the things that I find parents lack are both. Like if you're telling your kid that you feel disrespected, and then you just keep saying, I feel disrespected, right? So a big one. And when I mention something dealing with a client, y'all, please know I have already talked to them. Like, I wanted to address this on my show. So I'm just bringing this up. 19-year-old wants her boyfriend to be able to spend a night. Mom has said he needs to leave by a certain time, but he keeps spending the night. He keeps spending the night at your house? Oh. Well, have you had a conversation with him? What was the conversation you had with her? Because I don't understand. And so mom is like, I can hear them in their intimate moments. Hold up. And her rationale is my daughter is an adult. Is she an adult? Or is she an adult dependent?
Yeah.
I'm not finna listen to you bopping in the next room. Like we're not finna do that.
Yeah, but that goes to the respect factor.
Right.
Has respect been instilled in this child in regards to the household? There's certain things, well, I've been taught there's certain things that are not done within the house at a certain age.
Right.
What the hell? It's not your roof. Okay. If it ain't your roof, there are limitations. Okay.
Right.
What's okay and what's not okay. However,
and that has nothing to do with age. Like that's if me and you move in together. Right. There are rules. We got daughters, so ain't no strange being coming through here. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's just rules to life, period.
Right. So like you said, there's the clear communication.
Yeah.
Clear communication. And a part of parenting, even adult parenting or parenting your adult child, is even more so following through with your boundaries. You said what you said, why are you repeating yourself? And then you're wanting their behavior to change.
When the only consequence is you yelling.
Is the talk. Well, talk for me is yelling, and then at that time it may actually be an argument that no, yeah, you guys are both disrespecting each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
So granted the frustration, because I started seeing a bit of colors. I'm like, what?
Started seeing colors just now.
Yeah, she handling her business like she paying Lord have mercy. And it makes me go back to the mama, daddy. What are y'all not doing? What has not been established? What has not been
Now,
cleared?
see,
And
I'm
then
gonna get
there's
out
the
there in people
follow through.
business.
It's a follow through. If one, there should be that conversation in regards to what's expected with living under my roof that I pay. If you're paying a portion of the rent, okay, that's the reality of life. We pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not your roof.
Right.
Okay. So with that, these are the expectations. If you're wanting to do X, Y, and Z, you do that not under this roof, but you make sure that you are safe. You make sure that you are around people that are there to support you. They're healthy. They're in their right mind. You being very specific and very clear, and being clear in the fact that if you do bring any of that under this household, these are the results. These are the ramifications. Do I want to do this as a parent? No. However, if you go to live in an apartment, if you go to live somewhere else, you're still going to have regulations and guidelines. And if you do not follow through with them, there are ramifications. There are results of your actions when you choose not to follow, when you choose not to obey. You know what I mean? So, does it feel good as a parent to have to do that when you need to do it? No, it doesn't. But what you have to keep in mind is I am raising a responsible, honest adult.
Who makes integrity-based decisions.
And that's the part that I think all of it, but that's the part that kind of people kind of forget is like, even though I may want to do this, but I respect my household. I respect my family. So let me make, as an adult child, if you need to get an Airbnb, if he or she got her own place, it just ain't gonna be under your mother's roof, under your parents' roof.
Right.
And as a parent, following through accordingly, you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because your child knows if you, all they're gonna do is yell. They know. They knew at 10, hell, let alone 20.
And if that's all you've done, then you have taught them
exactly. Because I was going to go back to in regards to the yelling. We shouldn't be yelling. Don't get me wrong. Yelling should not be your default. Okay, it should not be your normal pitch and tone. But within that, what is the follow through? What is the action that's following that with all this yelling, even with repeating yourself?
I'm glad you said that yelling shouldn't be the default, because I think giving ways that we can stop yelling or things to do instead of yelling, right? So like when I said I do the smile, and I'm like, because I'm breathing. It's me giving you an opportunity to reset yourself. Now, I'm not saying everybody start smiling, okay? It's like, but I be real Stepford wife over here sometimes. But the breathing helps me. But I know to do it. Everyone doesn't know to do it, but it helps me because I can be over the top sometimes, right? And so, and then I go, that ain't enough. Okay, one more. You know what I mean? Just so I can. Now, I don't always do the heavy exhale. Sometimes she don't know I'm breathing because I'm trying not to breathe and use words at the same time. So then it's just, but I'm still breathing, right?
Yeah.
So what else can we do? Because breathing is that's my default.
Well,
so what else can we do
that is
stop yelling?
What I call, I'm all about a coping skill. I'm all about a healthy thing, but I'm all about a real one, is saying, I need a moment. And that's so stuff don't get snatched off the wall. That's so people don't get thrown into the wall. You know what I'm saying?
I feel attacked.
So hey, take it as you will. But even for me as well, because and so
my friends don't care at all.
You like, I need a moment. And you exit left, because what you don't want to do is go in on your child, whether that's with their words or physically, because of what you're feeling in the moment. Is it understandable to be frustrated? Sure, but it's not okay to violate them. It's not okay to disrespect them. It's not okay to belittle them. It's not okay to minimize them. It's not okay. And your feelings doesn't justify that.
Yes, absolutely not.
And that's the part where, when it comes to parenting, you have to separate the two. I tell a lot of parents, don't take it personal. And I say, I know what I'm saying, and I heard what I said, and I get it. It's very hard not to take it personal, but don't
Mhm.
take it personal
Yeah.
because your children are trying to figure out what they're feeling, trying to
Yeah.
figure out how to communicate it, trying to figure out what to do with the feelings. And that's speaking from the place of they've actually been provided an emotional safe place to talk about it, an emotional
Yeah.
safe place to be heard, an emotional safe place to be reinforced to do healthy and safe things to regulate.
Yeah.
So your frustrations, we're both parents. We get it.
Hmm.
And there's times where I tell my daughter, I thought 10 minutes won't do it. I need to hit you up tomorrow. And you need to I need to not see you until tomorrow.
Okay.
Because in that moment for that
I
specific
would
thing
I would
for
be
me,
pissed off if my mom had said that to me as a teenager. Like,
that let
tomorrow.
that let her know that was she done effed up, okay? And that's
It
basically
went
the
too far.
translation of it all. I done messed up big time, so I know the consequence is not going to be the typical. Oh, I'm just off the phone. It's going. This is for real.
Yeah. And
So
that's the thing, because of the phones, because of social media, because like there's so many different things that are impacting now that were not a factor
we're
when we
right.
were
That
growing up.
right,
Right. Now
right.
some of the parents listening may have grown up in the social media era because we've had 15 years of social media, so to speak. Like I Facebook was like 2010, 2011 when I joined. So now we're looking at 15 years later.
It
So
was
there
more
are
than
some
that, but
parents who really did grow up in, well, I
right.
mean, where it was public, because I know it was like just for college students and stuff.
Oh,
I'm talking
got it.
about
At that time,
like
yeah,
the
when they
public
no, so that
part.
means not. Mhm, okay, say both
Instagram
again.
became a thing in what,
Right.
2012. I think I was pregnant when I posted my first Instagram picture. So I'm basing it based on like my own
Your own
life.
timeline. Okay.
So if you in the last
Excuse me.
15 years
Hmm.
have, maybe you're 30, that means that you did grow up in social media, and so now
Right.
you kind of have a different perspective as to like what
Very
kids are
much.
exposed to and all
Right.
that. But you might be so involved in it that you ain't even checking your kid's phone, right? And so when we're
Yourself.
looking
Right.
at the amount of time and the space that our kids need, and
Mhm.
social media, yeah, on some levels it's like, hey, we don't yell at our kids, but on some levels it's, hey, let's damage our kids as much as possible. And I think that that is where, um as parents, we gotta go ahead, push the button, and seek the professional help,
Yeah.
because it's not just yelling. It's, like I said, the silent treatment is emotional abuse, right? It's not just hitting the kid, it's taking away their dignity.
Right.
It's
Right.
creating
Yes.
an environment where they feel afraid to talk to their parents or afraid to make a mistake, even if it's
Mhm.
literally genuinely a mistake. And I had to learn, and I told Kayla maybe a couple about 6 months ago, I was like, I punish um rebellion, but I forgive mistakes, right?
Okay.
But when
Okay.
it's when I know that you know better,
Intentional. Right. 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 It's intentional.
now we got to go
You
into
made
this
a
discipline
conscious
mode.
decision to do the
Right.
thing you
Took a
did.
calculated risk. I know that
Right.
this
Right.
gonna
She said
get
the calculator risk.
me
Right.
in a big trouble. And then you said, all right, I'm gonna do it anyway, right?
Right,
Now we
right. But within
we
that,
gotta
you were
look at
very
this a little
clear
differently.
in the expected behavior. You were very clear. So that was already communicated. So she was already aware. She was properly informed in regards to what aspects to take into consideration before making
Right.
that here decision. So
Absolutely. So can we wrap up here? I
we
feel
we
like
we, we can't because they're gonna be like once again it's like an onion, but
it's
but
like, it's like
right. But with that, I think we hit on a lot of good things.
we did. We did. Thank you for rolling with me.
No
Thank you for letting
problem
me
as
roll with you.
always.
Y'all drop us a line. Let us know. Is there a show topic? Do you want to be a guest on our show? Is there something that you want us to go deeper on? Let us know at therealonparenting@gmail.com. And that's it. We out.
Yes.
Love y'all. Thank you for joining.